Hi, I'm just sitting in the park with my dog, and it's a very hot late August day. It really is that place between late summer and just the first intimations of autumn. As you can see, there's quite a lot of leaves on the ground that have fallen because of the heat. So there's a lot of leaves on the ground. There's a wasp just there. Quite spaced today because of not having a lot of sleep, but I just more thoughts about Satanism, really. I do believe we are at base meant to be a pretty simple religion, actually, a household religion, and probably just coming together as friends, as people to worship and to work together, whatever the format of that might be, whether that's like a coven or just a few people just meeting in their home. And we are a household religion and a devotional religion, I believe. I was talking to a friend of mine last night who is a Satanist I respect a great deal, and we were noting that really a lot of Satanists do seem to have a lot of eccentricities, which I think is perfectly fine, and actually I think you'd have to say quite a lot of vulnerabilities in various ways, and I think this is another reason why we should focus on Satanism being a religion of stability, and that helps its people gain a good life, a stable life, and the sort of life that they'd actually want. A lot of people do talk about, well, they talk about very sensational things, and they talk about chaos and this and that, but a little bit of chaos goes a very long way, and in my experience, most Satanists seem to have quite enough chaos in their lives, and what they need is order. And I do feel that Satan is a god of balance, and he brings about the order that he feels is necessary and that he wants. And I think we should be working towards stable, productive, and secure lives for ourselves and our loved ones. That's what would make sense. And to do that, because really, we're not a proselytizing religion. We're not here to put out the message about Satanism particularly. I think communicating the essence of that is something different. We can communicate a lot of things artistically or through various things we do, but it's not like we're meant to be going around shouting "Hail Satan" and throwing up the horns and everything and stuff like that. Far better to be focusing on our own lives and the people we know, to build stability and well-being, rather than what's constantly presented as Satanism, which tends to be either over-intellectual or over-sensational or anything but an ordinary life for people. So I think that would be something to think about. And another thing is, given how many Satanists have to deal with a lot of things in their lives which are quite difficult, and that could be various sorts of states they might be going through. There's a lot of Satanists who have to deal with some quite problematic things psychologically. People suffer from anxiety states, or there's other people with other sorts of psychological conditions, and they seem to be quite common among Satanists. And whether it's just that Satanism attracts us, or that just the sort of people we are as Satanists, that we have to deal with these things because the energies we tend to incarnate, whatever it is, then certainly, without wanting to be all about glamorizing all these kinds of conditions and turning ourselves into victims, we need to sort of think about this, and that people do need support. They require empathy from other Satanists, and we should be working to make each other strong. Simply because you have these sorts of problems doesn't mean that you can't be self-reliant, and that you can't maximize your actual potential. And I think Satanists should take heart from that, and Satan will help you in this. The energy of Satanism makes people strong. It helps them to become more stable, and under that guidance to actually work to overcome these problems, so that even though you incarnate a certain kind of energy, you can still incarnate it successfully and give it a good place in this world. And so I think that is also something to think about. So, I'd say look for a good life, look for a stable life, maximize the stability and success in your life. Whatever that is, doesn't necessarily mean going out and being, like the number one at something. Could just mean having a nice life with your loved ones, having a quiet life. It's whatever suits you. Do that. Support each other. Look to Satan for guidance. Look to the sincerity of the heart, and tap down to what first brought you to him, what the real emotion was, what the deepest feeling was, and be true to that. Live it and learn from your experiences.